Sky Zone. Ozpin and Shadow, along with the teams, are on their way to Atlas to take the Relic of Creation. They already have the Relic of Knowledge, Choice, and Destruction. Shadow: so you already have 3 relics on hand? Ozpin: yes, I was able to recall and retake the powers from the maidens. Theodore had the Summer Maiden waiting, and all I had to do was reach out and reclaim it. I cleared it with Theodore while you were on your way to Mistral. He shows the Relic of Destruction. Shadow: a sword? How creative of the brothers. Ozpin: I can't wait for this nightmare to end. Shadow: it will, Grandpa, it will. Pilot: we are approaching Atlas, sir, but... Ozpin: but what? Pilot: General Ironwood has declared martial law after the attack on Vale and has closed off Atlas borders. Ozpin: give me the comm. Static. Ironwood: unidentified aircraft, state your identity and comply, if not prepare for a warning shot. Ozpin: Jane, it's me. Ironwood: who are you? Ozpin: Ozpin, you paranoid, delusional prick. Ironwood: you've certainly changed. Ozpin: I haven't, I'm coming for the Relic of Creation. It's time to put an end to this long story. Ironwood: you can't take it. Atlas needs it to stay in the sky. Then the ultimate lifeform came to view. Shadow: I will put it back where it belongs, on the ground where everyone else is. Ironwood: Project Shadow. Ozpin: let us through or else. Ironwood: or else what? Shadow: I'll blow your entire fleet out of the sky. Ironwood: a substantial threat, but nothing more. We have something special in mind. The ship's wings was clipped as Shadow had to mass chaos control everyone to one of the Atlas ships. Jaune: alright, what the fuck was that? Blake: they shot at us, Jaune. They shot us. Topaz: they want war. They got one now. Pro: I'm gonna gut that IDOT like a trout. Ruby: Shadow, you okay? Shadow: yeah. Sonic: man, talk about bumpy landings. Tails: guys, look. They see AKs coming to arrest them. Weiss: I'm not going down without a fight. Knuckles: well said. Let us go and die with honor. Jaune: we really got to work with your motivational speeches there, buddy. Nora: let me at M. Omega: worthless consumer models detected. Declaration: annihilate. Rouge: oh, I have a bone to pick with them. This is a new dress. As she sees some years from the ship's explosion, Ozpin covers the pilot while the rest do what they do best: cause damage. Shadow: all right, Team Darkwe. He was cut off when another man who looked like was staring him in the face. Ruby: what is going on? Shadow was fighting in melee, and saving his energy for later was mistake. The Shadow android was matching Shadow blow for blow. Shadow android: with the voice of Ironwood, with the revelation of Dr. Robotnik and his metal shadow, we wondered if we could replicate our first miracle. Ozpin eyes widen. Ozpin: you didn't? Shadow android: I did. One more trip to the Relic of Creation, and we were able to duplicate the ultimate life form, but with one setback. We can't make another life. So I asked for the next best thing. Pro: a pale Robo-Roboto copycat? Shadow android flexed and looked at his hand. Ironwood: we couldn't wait another lifetime to indoctrinate another child. So we made do with an android. Shadow was enraged and charged the faker. Ozpin: Shadow. Shadow android continued to keep up with Shadow's blow for blow. He then stepped it up by using chaos control, but the machine was able to analyze and predict his pattern with combat data stolen during the battle for Vale. Ironwood was able to hack in the CCT and take every documented battles on Shadow's time there. Shadow was in a stalemate. Chaos spheres can be dodged. Chaos control was now a gamble if the computer can keep up. Chaos blast we out if he destroys the ship everyone was on. Shadow android: your combat data, our records during your missions. Creation's best materials, my extensive military training and combat experience. And we have made a perfect meld of man and machine. As shadow androids, arms transformed into cannons and fired imitations of chaos spears at Shadow, who responded in kind. Ozpin left the pilot to Crow as he used his magic to find Ironwood and charges through the AKs into the ship away from Shadow android's awareness. He once again engages Shadow as he relied on his martial arts as Shadow android created a chaos blade as Shadow caught it. With both hands they were now in a deadlock. Shadow android, the difference between you and me is... Shadow's face contorted in pain. Shadow, arg. We see that Shadow android's free hand has another chaos blade stabbed into Shadow's gut. Shadow android, my body doesn't feel pain. Ruby, Shadow. She tries to break free from the AKs, but there was too many of them. Meanwhile, deep within the ship, the general was sweating on a control chair, puppeting Shadow android. Ironwood, you are now obsolete. Then a voice rang out. Ozpin. No, he's not. Ironwood. Ozpin. Finally out of hiding. Ozpin. I'm done sitting around doing nothing. For all those lived you helped ruin for Shadow's life. You will pay. Ozpin charges Ironwood, who pulled out his pistols. The two duked it out while Shadow was recovering. Sonic cleared the way for Ruby. Sonic, go get him, lover girl. She nods and rushes to him as the others covered her. Knuckles smashed two AK's heads together as Tails climbed on one AK's shoulder and hacked it, making it fire on its allies. Back to Ozpin versus Ironwood. Ozpin caught Ironwood's metal fist and made him hit himself with it repeatedly. He was sure to win until the Ace Ops arrived and turned the tables. Ironwood, give up, you're surrounded. Ozpin, I haven't come this far to die now. Then an alert pinged on Ironwood's console as he sees Shadow pulled out the Killer 7 pistol to blast a frozen android in the face. He scrambles and got a hold of the control stick, making Android sweat the pistol out of his hand, but Shadow followed up, kicking its shiny metal ass.
Ironwood, no, 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 no.
Then Shadow sent a chaos spear through the android and blasting it towards the ship, penetrating the walls until it went into Ironwood's face. After the smoke clears, they saw Ironwood downed and badly injured. And the Shadow android was offline. The rest of Team Ruby, Silver, Sonic, and Dark arrive after moping up the automaton army. Harriet tried to make a cheap shot at Shadow, but a flurry of rose petals, and she could feel the blade of a scythe at her neck as Ruby was behind her. Ruby, please give me an excuse. Please do it. Clover tried to save her, but a volley of autocannon and missile fire kept him from moving. Omega, Prerogative, do not move a single muscle or face annihilation. Elm was antsy as she was pushed to the wall. Knuckles, you have been warned. Marrow tried using his semblance until he was spun in a circle a lot, until he came to a stop, and he was covered in toilet paper. Sonic, time clean up your act. Vine stood down, seeing they were stronger than any of them. Ruby, Shadow, you okay? They see him as he covered his wound with his hand, and it glowed green as he was healed.
Shadow, I'm fine.
Ozpin walked to James and declares, Ozpin, this stupidity is over. Crow and Topaz went to the console and took control of the ship. Crow, where to? Ozpin, get us to the Winter Maiden.